Hey guys, I just published this book. I'm so excited. So you publish your book like this on Amazon, but now you're wondering how you're going to make more sales because you've already sold the book to your mama, your cousin, your aunt, a few church members, and all right, so you got your first 6 sales, right? So you're like, how am I gonna get more sales? Well, I got you today because we're gonna be talking about some strategies to put in place to set your book up for success. Now, I call these the foundational strategies. That means that these are gonna be organic strategies that you can use on Amazon. So we're just gonna take a step back to make sure that you have these foundational things that are very necessary to boost your book sales, okay? Now, I'll probably do a separate video sometime after this to tell you how you can market on social media and things like this. But like I said, this video is gonna be primarily focused on what you can do to boost your sales on Amazon KDP's platform. If you're new here, I'm Latoya Nicole, and in 2018, God told me to publish a book. So I published my first book, which was a coloring book that grew into a series called Entrepreneurs Color 2, which grew into a multi-6-figure business. So I help women just like you start and scale their author business. So like I said, these are gonna be foundational things that you are gonna wanna make sure you have done. So if you have published your book, I still want you to go back and make sure that you have these things in place so that you can maximize your sales, because these are going to be ways that you can bring organic traffic to your Amazon listing. So let's get into it. Okay. So the first thing that you want to make sure that you have nailed down is your niche. So who are you serving? Who is your book for? This also falls in line with the cover of your book. So your niche, whoever you're serving, should be reflected on your cover. That means if I'm a customer just scrolling on Amazon and don't know anything about you or your book, your cover is going to grab my attention because you know the niche that you're serving so well that you know the language they look for and the images that resonate most with them. For example, my books are primarily for African American women, right? So if I know how African American women speak and what they like, what they resonate with, I'm gonna want to make sure when I get ready to publish my book, I have something that relates to them. And this is why niche is important, because you want to niche down, because coloring books are a niche of their own, right? If you go to Amazon right now and just do a search for coloring books, you see how coloring books is such a broad category because you have all different kinds of books. You see mindfulness, you see cupcakes, you see animals, ABC coloring books. So if you just do coloring book, that is not niche down enough to actually be competitive because there are so many books already listed. So when I say that you need to understand your niche, you need to narrow it down. Let's say your niche was cat moms, right? So if I had a cat mom niche and I didn't know anything about that because I don't really do cats. So if I chose a cat mom niche, since I don't personally know anything about that because I don't know nothing about what they mamas like. So what I would do if I was going to choose this niche, which let me also say, I don't choose niches that I don't know or have some type of experience with, because that is really, to me, how you build a successful brand, by building something that is symbolic to you or something that you can relate to. At least that's how I've been able to build my brand, because it was something that represented me, right? But going back to the cat mom thing, if I was going to do a coloring book for a cat mom, what I would do is I would start on Instagram. I would start looking for Instagram hashtags and see what comes up under cat mom, because you know how people would like to take their little pictures and they like to use hashtags. So I would go up under Instagram, I would go up under the hashtag cat mom, and I would look to see what I see. What pictures may have some of the most likes and the most comments under the picture, right? And then I would start examining that style of picture. What kind of cat this is, what kind of environment they have, like what other types of pictures do they have, so that I can start understanding the essence of this type of niche, so that I know when I do my cover and everything like that, it's going to be relatable. And how do I know it's relatable? Because I just looked at someone's Instagram page and saw that people love this specific type of style or this specific things that they were doing in these pictures with their cats. So I would start there to make sure that your cover stands out, so that when people are scrolling, your cover is good enough that someone would say, oh, let me slow down. Hold up, let me slow down right here. And then they may click on it and want to know, a little bit more about it. So That's why your cover needs to stand out, because other people are going to be publishing the same types of books as you, and you want someone, when they're scrolling, to be like, hold on, let me go back, and let me click on this picture, right? That's why you need to know your niche, and you need to make a cover that fits with that niche, that pops, that resonates with that specific audience, so that when they're scrolling, they will stop at your book. All right, strategy number 2 is your categories. Now, this is a little tricky sometimes, because although Amazon did recently make changes to update their category section, where now you can select up to 3 categories of your choice, it still is a little tricky, because sometimes even when you select a category, they don't put your book in that category. Weird. It's just weird. This part, you're just going to do your best in hopes that you get the category that you're trying to get, right? So when you're on the paper detail section and you're choosing your categories, you just want to go and you can edit the category section here, and then just put it in the best category section for your book. So if you're doing coloring books, they have a whole range of different kinds of categories that you could put it in, from animal coloring books to comics to fashion. So you would just find your whatever sections your coloring book fits in and put it into the best categories. All right, and next would be your keywords. Now, your categories and your keywords kind of work hand in hand, in the sense that whatever keywords you select, KDP uses those keywords and your categories to put your book in the categories that they feel are most relevant. So what I always suggest for this part of it is building a list of keywords from the drop down. So if you know you're going to be doing a Christmas coloring book, as you start typing it in, you'll start seeing a list of words like Christmas coloring book for adults, Christmas coloring book for kids, and you can just start jotting down some of those types of keywords. So if you do Christmas coloring, and then just maybe you can start playing with the letters, right? And then you see Christmas coloring and activity book. Let's see if we do B. Christmas coloring book. Let's see if we do C. Christmas coloring crafts. So these are all types of keyword phrases that you want to make sure are in your back end. So like I said, if you already have published your book, but you did not do these things, just simply go back, because you can make changes to your account at any time. Next, you're going to want to have your reviews in place, right? So remember, I said at the beginning that you probably already sold to a few people that you know, because I'm sure when you published your book, you probably went on your personal social media and said, hey guys, I just published this book. I'm so excited, right? So a few people have already purchased your book. They probably already said, oh, I'm about to go get this or something like that. You encourage those people to leave reviews for your book. Reviews are very helpful for your book, because people look to that as social proof, and that helps them want to buy the book even more. Now, I did a video talking about how I got thousands of reviews for my book, and I'll link that video below for you. So just make sure you have a few reviews in place. I like to say at least 5 or 10 when you're starting off. If you can get those, try to go ahead and get people to leave reviews for the book. And the next tip is going to be your pricing. So if you are a first-time author, you don't have your own audience yet, no one knows about you yet, you're going to want to do what I call competitive pricing, which means you're going to want to look for books that have a niche like yours. You're going to want to see what those books are selling for. I know most coloring books go for around $6.99 to, I think I've seen them go up to like $10.99, right? So if no one knows you and you don't have an audience, it wouldn't make sense for you to put your book at $16.99, right? Because then you're not going to be competitive in the market that you are trying to serve. So make sure, I understand that once you get to the pricing part of the publishing process, you probably start looking at that royalty like, what? I'm only going to make $3 from the book. No, I'm about to amp this price up because I need to make at least $8 from the book. If no one knows you or your brand at this point in time, I do not suggest that you do that, because people are going to skip right over your book. Most people can start raising their price once people know about them, or the book becomes popular, or the book starts gaining momentum. Then you could go back in and adjust your price. But at the beginning, you want a competitive price that's in the range of what other people are also selling those types of books for. Next tip is going to be author central. I recommend Author Central for 2 reasons. First reason is because Author Central can put all of your books together under one name. That means that when someone goes to look for one of your books, if you have, let's say you start a series with that book and you publish multiple books under that series, then instead of having to give people one link to each book, you can give them one total link that will show them all of your books that are listed under that author name. This is why Author Central is very important, because you want to increase your chances of people buying more books from you at one time. The second reason that I suggest that you create an Author Central page is because Amazon does not give you access to your customers' information. That means that if you decide down the line to publish more books, the people who liked your first book won't know that you have any more books out, because you're not able to send them an email. You're not able to get in touch with them because you don't have any of that information to send it to them. So Author Central has a follow button. So if people like your book, they're going to decide to follow you. That way, when you publish a new book, automatically Amazon is going to send out that information to them that says, hey, this author just published a new book. So if they liked your first book, chances are they'll go ahead and buy your next book too. So you want to set that up, because remember, these are foundational things that are setting your book up for success. Now, the whole video, I talked about free things that you're doing to set up your book success, right? But this particular tip I'm going to give, this is paid advertising through Amazon ads. You don't want to do any type of paid advertising until you first have everything else already set up and the book is making some type of sales. The reason that you don't want to do any type of paid marketing or paid advertising until all these steps are set up first is because you're going to be wasting your money. Because if your book is not already something that people want to buy, then getting it seen by more people by doing Amazon ads is not going to make anybody want to buy it any more than what they would have wanted to do before you set it up for ads. So if you have all that stuff laid out, then you could do Amazon advertising so that you can set your book up to be seen by more people, and you'll get that little sponsored badge on the top of your book. So when people are coming to search Amazon, they'll see the sponsored ad. And so the sponsored ad basically just makes your book show up on the first page. And as you know, when people are searching for products, they're only going to really search through like the first 1 or 2 pages. So your book is going to show up at the top, which gives your book an advantage of being purchased by more customers. So I hope these tips were helpful. I am a firm believer that if you build your foundation right, then you automatically set yourself up for success. Now, if you like this type of content, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe so that I know to keep putting content out like this to teach you more ways to make money online. So I hope these organic tips were helpful to you so that you can go back and look at your book to make sure that you did these things. And if you didn't, the only thing you have to do is go back and readjust some things so that you can go ahead and start doing some deeper marketing and getting more eyes on your books and making those sales. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to my channel. And until next time, bye-bye.